Okay. Sorry we're late, but we had quite a bit to catch up on in the back. Where we at, Deb?
We're up to the manager's agenda.
Okay, we'll move right into the manager's agenda.
Should I just basically just jump in and say,
Oh,
we
yeah, do
did
your legal thing.
briefly discuss two workers' compensation cases, Brown and Soroka, and we also discussed the ongoing affordable housing litigation. So that was the extent of litigation that was discussed.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is going to be a presentation from Albert Dibb in reference to Demarest Place art installation. Albert Dibb is the Director of Redevelopment.
Thank you very much, Chief. I don't know if everybody can hear me, if this is on yet. Take this on. First of all, thank you for hearing the presentation tonight. I am the city's redevelopment director. I also serve on the Creative Arts team, which is an offshoot or subcommittee of the Business Alliance that I'm sure everybody's familiar with. The Main Street Business Alliance had partnered, I should say the city, we partnered with an organization called Northern New Jersey Community Foundation and Arts Bergen, which is an offshoot of that group. We have been talking for years about activating Demarest Place. This should not come as any surprise. Aaron had just reminded me that I was actually before this body 3 years ago talking about a grant that we had just won from the Together North Jersey, which I'll mention later. And I know we're starting late, so in the interest of time, I'm going to try to jump through this, but if I miss any obvious salient points, please let me know. This is a list of the projects that we had partnered with the Main Street Business Alliance and Arts Bergen. The mural that everybody's familiar with, we had done a catwalk exhibition as part of a street festival. We had partnered with Hoboken School to do comedy and dinner shows. There's a number of projects, and we're very proud of the progress we've made and the projects and various events that we've put on with these partnership organizations. Here's another list of it. Critical on this list is, as you see, I just mentioned the grant that we had received from Together North Jersey, Together North Jersey, who is associated with Rutgers University and the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority. They took notice of what we were trying to do around our transit hubs. Everybody knows Hackensack is a transit village community, and we get special attention from New Jersey Transit when it comes to projects that we're trying to do in and around this area. And this is one of those projects. This is not something that I'm coming up with in a vacuum, or Danielle from Arts Bergen is coming up with. And incidentally, she couldn't be here tonight. She asked me to present on behalf of Arts Bergen. This is something that came from a series of public events, public share-outs, public participation projects that we had done, where we collected input and feedback from something like 400 participants. Eventually, the work that we had done and the information that we collected formed the basis of our goals and visions, which were ultimately adopted by this board in its master plan re-examination report. Chief among them is that the city should consider funding mechanisms to convert Demarest Place into an arts walk from the Atlantic Street Garage to the New Jersey Transit Regional Station. That sentiment is also echoed in a later provision, which says that the city should consider proposals coming out of the 2017 Hackensack Creative Placemaking Strategies Lab to use or to create public art infrastructure and to make the pedestrian walkway at Demarest Place more inviting and interesting. This next slide shows you sort of a bird's eye view of what the area is. Demarest Place was at one point a vehicular throughway that came from Moore Street on the east to Main Street. It is a connector to not only the train station, the bus transfer station, but also parking lot A in the back. And if you go around the corner, it brings you right out onto Atlantic Street and the Atlantic Street Garage. So it's a well-trafficked area, and it's an area that people see. It's one of the reasons why the arts team decided that this was a good location for the mural, which you see here on the image on the right. That is the east side of Demarest Place, where in fact we want to do this project, which I will show you in a minute. We tried to do it on the image on the right is the west side. We tried to do it on the east side and determined that it wouldn't work out because of planned redevelopment at 132 Main Street, also known as the Sapphire. They're coming for site plan approval soon. And ultimately, they will do something nice with that segment of Demarest Place, and it'll be yet another venue to do temporary art and installations and have programming there. But for now, we're talking about a temporary pop-up display for rendering, which I'll show you. That was the recommendation from together in Jersey. Recommendations from the public and all the conversations that we had with members of the public. Creative lighting, rotating art installations, live performances, interactive art installations, in particular, interactive murals, wind chimes, seasonal light displays. This project tries to incorporate all of the elements and everything that we heard from the community. And so this is it. This is something that we're temporarily calling, and the working title is Demarest Feels. It is a temporary interactive public art installation that visualizes in real time the moods of Demarest Place users and the extended community of Hackensack. Composed of a number of structures, the installation will reflect with color how residents and visitors feel on a daily basis. It is designed by Juan Lee Carrion, who's an Parsons art professor and somebody who's done a number of creative outdoor art installations. And what you're seeing here is a fairly crude rendering of what this might look like. And we're talking about 4 or 5 life-size, or I should say person-size, crystals that will be interactively controlled using smartphone technology or a kiosk, as you'll see in the right-hand side of the image. And people will be asked a series of questions, and that'll be inputted into a central computer that will eventually light up these displays. It is, depending on who you talk to, it's kind of hokey. Other people love it. Some people feel like it could be, it's definitely an engaging interactive art exhibit. I'll show you another picture of it here. It changes color over time. It could be moved. You have to work out the engineering of it, how it'll actually be affixed. We have to work out insurance. This is all being funded, I should have said this right up in the beginning, from a line item in the Main Street Business Alliance Creative Placemaking budget. This council had approved the Main Street Business Alliance's budget at the last meeting and the meeting for that. So there's a funding mechanism in place, and we feel that it is something that the community could use right now. I spend a lot of time on Main Street. I walk around at night and I see new people starting to move into these apartments, and I keep asking myself, what a lot of people on Main Street are asking is, what is there to do? I mean, there's some dining, but right now there's nothing really going on. And other communities spend a lot of time, Jersey City, for example, Montclair is another example, trying to find interesting and artistic ways to engage people that live and work there. So this is what the arts team has come up, and the benefits, which you can read off, I won't read them off to you individually, but we feel that it is really a unique way to engage people in the downtown and in the city generally, and give them something to talk about on Main Street. These are the conclusions. We have support from Greater Brooklyn Community Action, from Enberg Group, who's the developer doing the property next door. We have obviously support from the Main Street Business Alliance, whose support had unanimously approved this project. And the ask from the city tonight is to endorse it, really welcome it. And nobody's saying anybody has to love this, but I guess what I would say to anybody who says, oh, we hate it, is if not this, then what? What else, what other ideas, how else can we engage the city? And we felt like we did a reasonably good job engaging the public to come to us and to engage them to figure out what the public wanted to see, and this is the concept that came out of that. So we want to continue to do our part to engage and bring the public into Hackensack, and we feel this is a good way to do that. And I guess with that, I will take any questions. the
Yes, Albert, could you go back to the picture?
we had it,
Or-
yeah, we see.
The website and the.
Yeah, I see that now, you know, we were.
I mean, on the picture, it looks to me that that's the east side of Main Street, which is right.
It is.
That's right
So
where
we-
the development is going to be.
We had to switch sides, Deputy Mayor. We had to switch sides from the east side to the west side.
So the picture you're
So
showing
let
is
me
not
go-
where it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Frank, this is all this, we had issues with
So
connecting.
I remember what it looks like. So the
Yeah.
picture you just showed is not where it's going to be.
It's going to be on
The west side.
the west side where the planter box
You're going to
is.
swap it.
Yes, and that's
Okay.
one of the things I think I jumped over.
Okay, and I know because I told you that there's going to be construction there,
That's
so that
right.
would make absolutely no sense.
Correct.
Personally, I still think there's going to be a lot of construction in that area over the next couple of years. I think that part of the development agreement with the potential developer for that property is for them to reimagine what's happening on Demorest. And I think that whatever theme they come up with should be the theme that's carried and consistent across to the west side as well.
Agreed.
My opinion is this is a waste of time and money for this location. And I would ask that, of course, there's gonna be a tremendous amount of construction going on right there in that spot. I really don't think it's the correct place to be engaging anything new until we see and we understand what the new plans are going forward.
I think it's a valid concern. What I would say is this, in the interim, in the next 2 years that it takes for development to take hold and for people to move in, there's no art program in Hackensack. And,
I mean, it's actually gonna be dangerous there with construction. Do something somewhere else and enliven more along Atlantic Street, which is another main corridor.
well, this
I would
is,
just stay away from Demarest Place, where we know there's gonna be a lot of heavy-duty active construction, and we know there's gonna be a total renovation of Demarest Place as part of that project. So I'm not saying not to do something in the city, I'm just saying I think this is a very poor choice of location now, knowing what's going on, and perhaps when they came up with this idea, we weren't this far along with the other project, but
to my knowledge, there's no construction plan for the west side of
it's
Denver
very
Place.
You know that street's gonna be closed, it's gonna be blocked, there's gonna be a tremendous amount of construction going on there.
Okay, it's
For
a
quite
pop,
some time.
it's a pop-up installation that could be moved, and if the location is the issue, we can find
I
another
mean,
location.
I'm only one person,
Absolutely.
I just think it's not the right time or not the right location.
Right.
And I think there's many other places we could, where we're much further along within the city, within Main Street, where we could bring the arts and reinvigorate. This is just
Is
the
it,
wrong time.
is Atlantic the preferred location for this?
I'm just saying, I'm giving you an example. I mean,
Yeah.
Atlantic Street, we have a lot going on in Atlantic Street with what's going on in the park. I think we're trying to enliven Passaic Street, although there's gonna be more construction there as well. I think we have to look forward to what we know in the next couple of years is definitely going to be there. And it's definitely going to be, a hot spot for construction and development and streets being closed. And pick something that's maybe a little further along developmentally and maybe try something in that location.
Okay, in the
By
interest,
the green,
I'm sorry, Councilman, I didn't
The
hear.
green also.
by the
Green, yes, is another location.
You'll also pull a lot of people from outside of
Mhm.
Hackensack because you have all the county workers there.
Okay, what I would ask that if there's a preference on type of art project, or location for art project, or timeline for art project, that the council make me aware of that. I think what we have right now is an engaged creative arts team, looking to do projects that that comport and comply with what we've said we've wanted as a city in our master plan. And I don't think it's a good idea to leave them aimless. I think it's a better idea to engage them and provide feedback. I don't know if there's a member of this governing body that wants to do that, but without art, I don't know what we're going to do to engage public.
But we're not saying that, we're just saying this is a bad choice of a location right now, knowing where we are with projects going on in that area.
Appreciate it.
I think that the green is
I
excellent.
agree.
I think
The
is
green,
an
by the
excellent
green.
place.
Okay, so with what I will do with that recommendation is go back to the creative art team and ask them that we provide concepts
Mhm.
for this, there's nothing in particular about this concept that you don't like, aside from the location. Okay.
And it
so
sounds like it's portable, so
It
perhaps
is,
something
absolutely.
interesting like that on the green would work very well.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for the
Thank
time
you
this
all.
evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback.
Next up?
Yep, next up is a discussion about resolution, this would be a resolution adopting the City of Hackensack debt management policy for fiscal year 2021, and CFO Jim Mangan would like to do his presentation on it.
Okay, briefly, as the city manager indicated, tonight on the agenda is the adoption of the city debt management policy. Just want to explain for a second where that came from. This goes back to the financial reform that we imposed back in 2014 in the wake of the tax appeal crisis. And what that did was that forced us to adopt a number of different practices. It increased our debt, so it changed the way that we looked at debt, the way we implemented debt. Also changed surplus. We changed the way we use surplus. The changes we made to surplus then became the adoption of a surplus policy. Tonight we're doing the same thing with debt management. We can change practices and procedures, but only the mayor and council can set policy. What that does is by setting the policy, there are now rules that we have to live by, okay? And the only way that we cannot live by them would be by resolution of the mayor and council to that policy. And basically the debt management policy that we have, there's just 8 components. I'll just run through them real fast. Number 1 is to keep the annual budget appropriation for debt service at the 2017 level of approximately $10 million. This is when we say no new taxes for capital improvements, okay? We are not going to increase taxes for capital improvements. We're going to keep the debt service budget at that 2017 level. Number 2, before any project involving debt is to be considered by the governing body, a long-term debt service analysis will be performed to make sure or to confirm that projection that we can stay within budget. Number 3, should that long-term analysis indicate an opportunity that we can reduce that $10 million ceiling and sustain it, okay? We're going to then take that recommendation to the Finance Committee for a possible modification of this policy. In other words, that if we have the opportunity to reduce our debt service budget in the future, we're going to do that. Number 4, all debt is to be incurred at full project cost, inclusive of all grants, principal forgiveness, everything else. Number 5, grant proceeds must be used to retire any debt that's incurred before any other use, which is also spelled out in every bond ordinance that we do. 6, the debt instruments that we use will be determined based on cost effectiveness in the long term, not the short term. Even if the short term increases, but over the long term, if it decreases, that'll be the basis of how we decide what debt instrument we're going to use. Number 7, before the end of the year, all projects involving debt will be reviewed, and if there's any money left over, the project, the improvement authorization will be canceled. Any associated debt will also be canceled, and if the project has been, any unissued debt would be canceled, and if the project involves debt that has been issued, the improvement authorization will be canceled. That money will go into the following year's budget to pay down the debt even more. Okay? And finally, number 8, that this debt management policy will be adopted annually by the mayor and council the first year, the first meeting of every calendar year. Okay? This is considered a best practice by the credit rating agencies, okay? And it's something that, as I said, we've been doing anyway. Okay, so if we've been doing it anyway, let's codify it into a formal policy, just as we did with the surplus policy, and that's worked out well. Okay. Lastly, if you recall, I did do a presentation on all of our debt issues back in the June 15th meeting, so this is just the next logical step. Have any questions?
A question, but I know we were just recently told we got a new rating.
Yes, that's about it.
Yes, Standard & Poor's increased the city's bond credit rating. We were a AA, we're now a AA+, according to Standard & Poor's.
Good job, Dan.
Thanks to your whole department and to our auditor and to you, of course, Jim. What a wonderful accomplishment. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
The AA+ is one level below AAA, It's also the second rating increase that we've had this administration. Back when we did our bond sale back in 2018, we went from AA minus to AA. Now we go AA to AA plus. And to be perfectly honest, if we continue following the practices that we've been following, my opinion, I think that we can achieve a AAA within the next 2 years.
Nice, that'd be awesome.
Thank you for your depth.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next up is discussion in reference to an ordinance to amend Chapter 166 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Uniform Construction Code Enforcement, establishing fees to be charged for approval of tents that are subject to UCC review. This is just adding the fees that would be charged for tents that are required to get a UCC review from the construction department. It's not intended for residential homeowners who put up a small tent in their yard or such like that. It's more for a large, more permanent structure, or even for a commercial use. A lot of our restaurants have tents up now, and they're covered under the COVID, emergency plans and policies. If those policies get relaxed, then these fees may apply to the restaurants if they want to keep their tents. But it also affects larger structures that are tent-like, that may be built in the city also.
You want me to further comment on that? I just would add that, that this is actually designed to address some concerns of actual folks who have businesses in the city in terms of approval of a tent. It's something that there's fairly limited times that you would actually need to get a UCC permit. Generally, if they're going to be in place for more than 180 days, if they're of a certain dimension, which came up in the wintertime, if they're going to be used and occupied in the winter, you might need a UCC permit because, of course, tents, if piles of snow fall on a tent, you have to make sure that it's not going to collapse. Or if it's got a permanent anchor, so a permanent tent. These are the types of things that would require a UCC permit. And an issue came up in the construction office where someone was seeking such a permit and we had not really made provision for it. So the determination was made to, put the appropriate fee in and to provide the ability of folks to make that application. But it's, if someone's, having their kids camping in the backyard, it certainly doesn't cover anything along those lines. So just to be clear what the point of that is.
Okay.
Okay.
Next up is a discussion on an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to update certain provisions relating to prohibited turns at intersections in Chapter 170-64. Prohibited turns at intersections. This specifically is going to address the intersection of Kaplan and Polyfly Road. Polyfly Road has been an area of concern for some time, traffic safety issues there. Our police traffic division has weighed in. Neglia Engineering, our traffic engineers, have done a study on it. They've also been in contact with Bergen County and their traffic team, and it's been determined that two areas are going to be identified in this. Kaplan Avenue traveling east, you will not be allowed to make a left turn onto Polyfly. And Polyfly Road traveling north, you will not be able to make a left turn onto Kaplan. This is to adopt this, and once it's adopted, the county will make the necessary signage and notifications for it.
What about to improve the lighting?
Include the lighting.
Yeah, they're really dark around that area.
The county was looking at something on Polyfly after that last,
I'm not aware that that's
Excellent,
included in
yeah.
this particular project.
no, it's not, but I know the county is looking at doing something with the lighting on Polyfly on that stretch.
Okay. The next item up for discussion, this was ordinance, no dogs permitted in Carver Park. On further review, this ordinance is going to be pulled for tonight, is that correct, Deb? Okay, Carver Park currently, just so everyone's aware of the history here, Carver Park currently displays a sign, "No dogs allowed." The sign has been posted for many years. The city is unable to cite the violation since it's not noted within any city ordinance. This request for no dogs in Carver Park was brought to our attention due to several instances of dogs running loose in the park, in addition to dogs on leashes coming too close to people. The only other park that does not allow dogs is Atlantic Street Park, because this park is used for other purposes. We have the plays there, yoga, movies under the stars and such, which requires sitting in the grass area. So the city's intent is to accommodate the residents that enjoy Carver Park. We ask the residents to communicate if this is what they would like. In the meantime, we will continue to cite any violations of dogs off leashes. So that ordinance is being pulled tonight, but input is welcome from the public, please.
And I'll just point out, we do have an ordinance that will prohibit dogs in the splash pad
Yes.
at Carver Park. It's already prohibited, I believe, in the other splash pad, and this one just will be added to be consistent with that for obvious reasons, unless, of course, it's a service dog.
Correct. Next item is the discussion in reference to the resolution for the city of Hackensack fair share housing. I believe Steve's gonna explain this.
Yeah, so, hang on a second here. What's the exact resolution number on it? It's, yeah, so there's, well, cause there's two issues with housing. So I guess the first one that you're referring to is the Hackensack Housing Authority Resolution Agreement.
Yes.
As part of our affordable housing efforts and as part of our litigation with the Fair Share Housing Center, with the goal of reaching an agreement, a settlement agreement that would put the city in compliance with our fair share housing obligations, we've identified various types of what's called creditable affordable housing units, right? And there are certain rules and regulations that determine whether we get credit for those units for affordable housing purposes. DeZenzo Court is run by the Hackensack Housing Authority and does provide affordable housing. However, for COA purposes, in order for those units to be considered creditable and to further our affordable housing settlement efforts, you are not allowed to have a residency restriction, meaning that you limit it to only, for example, Hackensack residents. You have to be able to allow others to apply from outside of the community. These are the rules, and we are required to abide by them. So we have reached an arrangement with the Housing Authority to remove that residency requirement after there's an existing list, and the existing list will be drawn down, so those folks who are within Hackensack who are on the list, once space is made available for them, the list will be opened up to not just Hackensack residents, but others. As part of this, we're also working with the Housing Authority and have agreed to continue to work with them as to ways that we might be able to expand the units that are provided directly by the Hackensack Housing Authority, along with all of our other affordable housing efforts beyond working with them. There are a number of items that we are working on, and I'll briefly discuss that later in the meeting in terms of what we're doing with the ongoing litigation at Fair Share, the ongoing affordable housing litigation with Fair Share. So this is all part of the process and is going to help us get a substantial way forward to providing the affordable housing opportunities that the law requires and that the council has been looking to achieve for some time.
Thank you, Steve.
We're good? Next on my agenda is, this was a discussion. It's obviously been a very popular topic and a topic that the city is committed to addressing, and this is the flooding issues we've had recently. Last meeting we had quite a few residents come up and share their horror stories. I really just wanted to reassure you that the city's focused on this. It's gonna take some time, as we said last meeting, and just when public comment opens up, if anybody has any specific questions, we have Suburban Engineering in the house here to answer any technical questions, and our project management team is here as well, along with our head of our DPW sanitation department is here also for any questions. I will say, one brief update. The county is gonna be paving First Street in the near future, and what we had decided to do was to get cameras in to just check the problem areas on First Street between Essex and James. So we're gonna have the camera crew in on the 17th, just to check any areas that were previously identified by previous reports as possible problem areas. We just wanna reassure everyone that if there's a problem, it'll be addressed before the street gets paved. So, an update will come once that happens. The last thing that I need to speak about is just informational in reference to COVID-19 update. All future council meetings will be going back to Zoom beginning September 14th meeting, so the next council meeting will be via Zoom only, there will be no in-person. Effective September 1st, any board or committee meetings that have to take place will be Zoom meetings also. City buildings continue to require visitors to wear masks, and we will continue to monitor any rise in cases within our community and make the proper adjustments to keep everyone safe. That's all I have.
Thank you. With that, motion to close the,
No, you need to open to public.
roll open to the public.
Sorry.
I'm trying to get to the next meeting. All right, need a motion open to the public.
Offer.
I need a second. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who would like to speak, please come forward, give your name to the clerk. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. I need a motion to close the executive
Executive.
session.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Now I need a motion to close the council of the hall.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay. Take a 2-minute break or go right into the meeting? Earlier. Yeah. Gonna take a 2-minute break, then we'll start the next meeting. Thanks.
Huh? How are you, sir?
Yeah, he said he emailed us a list. Diego reached out to him, so I think Diego was working on it yesterday, trying to get him. I think he would get him in another 3 weeks. So, but yeah, so that's the goal. So hopefully next week or so we'll have everything, at least a date.
And then they named some other teams. The same thing, and it's a lot of tests that they didn't know.
Well, thank you, sir. Hey, Lee, you got a chauffeur to the meeting. You got a chauffeur to the meeting. Don't let her take it. Good idea.
They filed this.
The fire department. They've got, fire department's pretty nice.
Yes, good, good.
All right, you ready?
You got one over there, TV. The guy there, yeah. What's the head on?
Not me, I'm short. Not have to worry about me.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Madam Clerk?
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. There are no proclamations or presentations this evening. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the July 19th, 2021 Executive, Cal, and regular minutes.
And Deputy Mayor.
Deputy Mayor
Rudenberg
Canestrino was absent.
Yes. Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Abstain. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. And with that, we'll go right to the city manager's report.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Couple of items from the city here. Our next drive-in movie will be on August 19th. The movie is Casablanca. Please visit hackpack.org to reserve your tickets. Our summer concert series continues tomorrow night on the Green. Filet of Soul will be performing at 7:30 p.m. The city has officially launched our Facebook page and Instagram page. Please search the City of Hackensack and follow both for the most up-to-date information and advisories. COVID-19 update. The city's health department continues to monitor our daily cases. We are committed to keeping our community safe. All buildings will continue to mandate mask wearing for all visitors. Unvaccinated employees will be required to wear a mask, and vaccinated employees are highly encouraged to wear masks. Our future council meetings, along with board meetings, will be via Zoom. Links will be posted to our website for residents to participate. Let me just back up, excuse me. As of September 1st, our future council meetings, along with board meetings, will be via Zoom, not until September 1st. So if there are any board meetings between now and September 1st, they will most likely be in person as scheduled.
Actually, I interject here.
Sure.
There are two meetings. One is the conduct call board and economic, environmental.
Right,
They're both gonna be held by Zoom.
they are,
They've
okay,
already agreed.
good.
And the zoning board for the first, when was the zoning? Alright,
Okay,
they
yeah, I didn't have
agreed.
confirmation before we
Well,
did this.
we just got it, but they agreed to Zoom, so nobody
So
will
is
be
it safe to
here.
say all board meetings will be Zoom?
Yeah,
Okay,
even the ones at the end of this month.
very good.
And I'm assuming that's subject to change. This is all, I think, as a result of the Delta variant and some concerns, and that obviously we would consider that as events warrant.
Yeah, well, as of whatever we're doing, then we notify the other boards.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear to the public, that it's not a permanent Zoom,
No.
it's given the current public health situation. Obviously, we're all here masked again, and that, we'll be considering each time, whether to go back to the in-person meetings.
Correct, thank you. The city has been approved to move forward with our rolling tax reassessment for tax years 2022 through 2025. Last council meeting, I had noted several comments and complaints that I'd like to update you on. We had a concern about Fashini Park. There was witnessed some drinking of alcoholic beverages on the fields. We gave that to our police. They've been monitoring it, and Dean's been monitoring it, and we will continue to monitor it. No issues were reported at this time, though. The proposed 2-hour timed parking that was going to be added to Prospect and Beach Avenue areas has been put on hold. We're looking into what would work best for the existing residents. We had many people from 100 Prospect show up at the last meeting, requesting some additional parking. So the request to install additional parking spaces will be granted in the coming weeks. Once the spaces are measured out, the ordinance will be amended and proper signage will be added. That's a few spaces along Prospect, just in front of their building. Police department has been advised of all the speeding and loud vehicle complaints that were brought to our attention last meeting, and they will monitor these areas. As I said earlier, flooded areas continue to be addressed and monitored by our project managers and suburban engineering consultants. The city's long-term goal is to resolve the flooding in these areas. It will take time, but we are committed to working with the residents of Hackensack. All of our COW meetings moving forward will include sewer and stormwater updates, and anyone that has concerns is welcome to bring them forth at that time. Any additional comments or complaints that are not mentioned tonight, we are continuing to monitor and will be looked into for updates moving down the following meetings. Lastly, I would now like to introduce our new city manager, Vincent Caruso. He will officially begin his employment with the city on September 1st. I'd like to invite him up to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council. Tough talking with a mask, but I'd like to thank everybody for this opportunity. The challenges, I'm ready to hit the ground running. And thank Chief Freeman for filling in during this time. I appreciate the trust that you guys have put in me and for the city. And I'm going to continue to move Hackensack forward, especially on the foundation that you guys have already put together, along with Mr. Ehrenberg, rest in peace. And I look forward to a great working relationship with the mayor, council, and all the residents of Hackensack. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Vincent. Want to say anything? On the line?
Now?
Yeah.
Just welcome. We, appreciate you being here. And thanks to Chief Freeman for filling in. He's done a wonderful job. You have some big shoes to fill with Ted. He was, a great guy and sorely missed, but we know that you'll be a perfect fit here and we look forward to working with you too.
Again, welcome. I'm sure you're gonna come to love Hackensack as much as we do. It's a truly wonderful city, and you have excellent credentials. For the public, we did a very thorough search and screening, and I think Mr. Caruso was a great find, and is gonna be a perfect fit for a city of Hackensack. Again, there's no replacing Ted, and you've heard all that. You have to step up because he was a wonderful, wonderful city manager to us. And also, again, thanks to Chief Freeman, and thanks to Jackie too, who really went above and beyond to get us through this difficult time. And you have a great support staff, Mr. Caruso, wonderful department heads, and I know we're gonna see the city moving in the right direction going forward. Welcome.
First of all, thank you, Chief Freeman, for all the work you did for us, and Jackie and the rest of the group. And welcome, Mr. Caruso, and we are going to work together to try to bring the city forward. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Chief Freeman, for all your help during this time, and your staff. They have been tremendous. Again, I only been on the council just a month, and the department has been a tremendous asset to me. And Mr. Caruso, welcome aboard. Best of luck.
Okay, I'm not gonna call you Mr. Caruso, I'm gonna call you Vincent if you don't mind. But first I wanna thank Chief, great job. Thanks for stepping in at a time when the city was really, took a gut punch and we needed some help, and you stepped in and took care of it. We appreciate it. And Jackie Hashmat, great job during this tough time. Vincent, looking forward to working with you. You got a great resume. Everybody speaks highly of you. Even tonight, people were grabbing me saying, "Oh, you got a great guy there." So looking forward to working with you. We'll have a great rapport. Hackensack is a great city, just like Lodi's a great town. And what's good about this, a lot of people may not realize this, but Hackensack and Lodi have the same form of government. It's only, I think, 6 or 7 municipalities in the state of New Jersey that have our form of government, and 2 of them are right next to each other. So Mr. Caruso, Vincent will have good knowledge of how our government works, so we're looking forward. He'll be able to hit the ground running, and looking forward to seeing you behind that desk in a few weeks. So thank you, appreciate it.
Mayor,
Yes,
I'm sorry, before you move on,
yes,
I just had a couple things to say.
sure, go ahead.
Being that this is my last meeting, this is my last meeting, I'll repeat. I'd like to thank all of our department heads, their assistants, and support staff for assisting me in these past months. I would also like to thank the residents of this great city for their valuable input and for the suggestions that we receive on a daily basis from them. I cannot thank the city's contracted professional services providers enough for having patience and understanding while they brought me up to speed on all of their ongoing projects and responsibilities, mostly suburban, which I see there. We spent a lot of time. I would be remiss if I did not personally thank the executive assistant to the city manager, Jackie, for her tremendous support and assistance to me, along with her 24/7 commitment to every aspect of this city. I also would like to congratulate Vincent Caruso on his appointment as our next city manager, and I look forward to working with him in the coming months. Lastly, I would like to thank the mayor and council for entrusting me with the responsibilities of the city manager's position. It was a pleasure to serve in this interim capacity these past months. Thank you.
Thank you.
That ends the manager's report.
Maybe we should go golfing now, since you haven't been able to be out so much. Maybe I
You are correct.
really beat you. Thank you, Tom. All right, let's move forward.
You ready?
Yes. Resolution 314-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 31-2021, an ordinance to amend Chapter 5 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Chief Financial Officer, Section 5-6, methods of payment of amounts due by the city. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members from the audience, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt the ordinance, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 31-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 315-21.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 32-2021, an ordinance to amend Chapter 117 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, parks to prohibit dogs from using the splash pads at Carver Park or Second Ward Park, aka Powell Flag Park. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 32-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 316-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 34-2021, an ordinance authorizing First Amendment to easement agreement between R&H Hackensack Urban Renewal, the Bergen County Utilities Authority, and the City of Hackensack. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 34-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Okay. Resolution 317-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 35-2021, an ordinance authorizing financial agreement for market rate rental apartment project to be constructed upon block 82.1, lots 25.01, 27.28, 30.01, 30.02, and 30.03 by Meridia Hackensack 151, an urban renewal LLC, an urban renewal entity pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law, NJSA 40A:20-1 et sec. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward, give your name to the clerk. Seeing no members from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 318-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 36-2021, and an ordinance authorizing entry of real estate sale agreement with designated redeveloper Meridia Hackensack 151 Urban Renewal LLC for the sale of Block 82.01, lots 25.01, 30.01, 30.02, and 30.03, which is the recycling center site, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 40A:12-1 et sec, within the Green Street redevelopment area. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and the State of New Jersey that ordinance number 36-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Okay, resolution 319-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 37-2021, and an ordinance to amend chapter 67 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, body piercing, ear piercing, and permanent cosmetics to be renamed body piercing, ear piercing, permanent cosmetics, and tattooing to regulate tattoo facilities within the city. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 37-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 320-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 38-2021, capital ordinance of the City of Hackensack and the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing an ordinance for certain capital improvements and acquisitions and appropriating $1,760,000 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from the fund balance and capital improvement fund of the general capital fund of the City of Hackensack. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. What do you got here? Motion to open to the public? I totally lost where I am.
That was the motion to open. You
We
just
did
need,
that.
Yes,
see if there's anybody out there that wants to talk.
Anybody from the public like to speak? Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 38-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 321-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 39-2021, An ordinance authorizing a special emergency appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-53B for a citywide tax reassessment. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 39-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 322-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 40-2021, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add a new handicap parking space in Section 49.2, parking for the handicapped. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 40-2021 has passed the second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 323-21.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 41-2021, bond ordinance providing for various 2021 capital improvements by and in the City of Hackensack and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3,600,000 therefore and authorizing the issuance of $3,428,200 bonds or notes of the city to finance parts of the cost thereof. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt?
Nope.
Motion,
Anybody
Clean up,
wants
do
to
me
speak?
anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward, give your name to the clerk. Seeing nobody from the audience, motion to close?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
We need a second.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 41-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 324-21.
This is a final adoption of ordinance number 42-2021, an ordinance to amend Part 2 General Legislation of the Code of the City of Hackensack to establish a new Chapter 69 Cannabis Businesses. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members of the audience, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 42-2021 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 325-21.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 43-2021, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to update certain provisions relating to prohibited turns at intersection in Chapter 170-64, Schedule 15, prohibited turns at intersections.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus. Mayor.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 43-2021 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 14th, 2021 at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. We're pulling 326-21,
Yes.
so resolution 327-21.
This one is resolution, hang on, I just have to switch this. This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 45-2021, an ordinance to amend Chapter 166 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Uniform Construction Code Enforcement, establishing fees to be charged for approval of tents subject to the UCC review.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 45-2021 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 14th, 2021 at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 328-21.
This is a resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation as per NJSA 40A:4-87, the 2021 Summer Food Program Grant.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 329-21.
This is a resolution adopting City of Hackensack debt management policy for fiscal 2021.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 330-21.
This is a resolution authorizing tax refund for duplicate payments, state board judgments, paid in error, and tax exemptions.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 331-21.
This is a resolution authorizing award of contract for grants management consultant to Millennium Strategies LLC.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 332-21.
This is a resolution authorizing award of contract for redevelopment financial consultant services to NW Financial Group LLC.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 333-21.
A resolution authorizing award of contract for engineering services, adaptive traffic signal system, River and Camden, and River and Passaic Streets to Neglia Engineering Associates.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 334-21.
This is a resolution authorizing rejection of all bids for Lodi Street Road Improvements Project.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 335-21.
This is a resolution authorizing awarding a bid contract for Stuyve Park Improvements Project to North Creek Construction.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 336-21.
A resolution authorizing for cancellation of dormant escrow bank balances in the Developers Escrow Trust Fund.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 337-21.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Hackensack authorizing the execution of an agreement with the Hackensack Housing Authority.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 338-21.
A resolution authorizing tax appeal attorney to settle the cases on the attached list dated August 12, 2021 that were scheduled for trial or settlement.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. That was 338.
Yes, we're up to 330.
Resolution 339-21, the payment of bills.
Resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion to pay the bills?
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, before we move forward with the consent agenda, does anybody have any conflicts?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do.
Okay, we have one. And at the same time, Resolution 340-21 was the same one you had the conflict with, correct?
Correct.
I'd like to pull that and read that separate so we can meet these young ladies and gentlemen. I don't see any ladies, but
340-21?
yes, the first one.
Okay.
And then we get those guys out of here.
Anything else, or just that one?
Anybody else have any other conflicts?
Or anything you wanted pulled to read?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items require expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and the consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The consent agenda consists of resolutions 341-21 through 347-21. Resolution 341-21 is a resolution authorizing renewal of inactive liquor license for KQ LLC for the 2021-2022 license term. Resolution 342-21 is a resolution authorizing endorsement of proposed Bergen County community development grants. Resolution 343-21 is a resolution authorizing Richard C. Takvorian as temporary judge for the Hackensack Municipal Court. Resolution 344-21 is a resolution authorizing 100% veterans exemption for 131 Clinton Place, Unit 415. Resolution 345-21 is a resolution authorizing raffle license 2216 for St. Joseph's RC Church for September 19th, 2021. Resolution 346-21 is a resolution authorizing the qualifying of professional service providers and authorizing the mayor to execute contracts with such qualified professionals. And Resolution 347-21 is a resolution authorizing the appointment of Vincent Caruso as the Hackensack City Manager.
Okay, I need a motion to adopt the consent agenda as it was read.
Offer.
Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, resolution 340-21.
Resolution 340-21 is a resolution authorizing Class 1 special law enforcement officers to attend Bergen County Institute of Law and Public Safety for training, otherwise known as HCOPS.
Okay, gonna read the names. If you are here, please stand so we can see you, and welcome to Hackensack, guys. And look forward to seeing you working for our great city. William Carbajal? Is there William here? No? Chris Amato? No? Samdo Nadim? No? Oh boy. Kevin Ortiz? Okay, Jessica Barsalo? You sure you got the right names here? Dana Bozamati? Jim Flores? Kareem Mansour, that's the list they gave me.
Maybe they should have tomorrow.
But are some of you guys the new specials that are on, that are here? No? I thought when I saw Mr. DeWitt with all you guys, I thought you were the new guys. My bad. Okay,
All right, so we need a motion?
need a motion to adopt.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
And Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, very good. All right, with that, we need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. All right, anybody from the public who'd like to speak, please come forward, give your name to the clerk, you have your timer ready to go.
Frank,
Yep, I have it.
he's got it.
Frank's
I
got
can't
it?
do it from this side.
Okay. You have 3 minutes. At 3 minutes, does it beep, this new one?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Anybody from the public like to speak? Mr. Smith, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'd like to start off this evening by thanking the council for doing such a great job on American Legion Drive. It's a pleasure to see it and to drive on it now. And hopefully we'll see additional improvements made in other streets here in Hackensack. Currently, we have a mobile message sign on Prospect Avenue, just south of Passaic Street, that indicates that the speed limit on Prospect is 25. Am I correct in assuming that that will now be the official speed limit for Prospect Avenue?
That's a good question, because I believe the speed limit on Prospect was 35, wasn't it? Or was it 25? I saw that sign for the first time today.
I'm not familiar with it, I'm sorry.
Officer DeWitt, would you know? Prospect?
Mr. Mayor, I believe it is 35, it's not 25.
He said he believes it's
the speed
35
limit is
too.
35, not 25, so
I know,
you're saying the
I know
sentence is incorrect?
one or the other. One is Summit is 25 and Prospect is 35 or vice versa, but I'm not sure. But
Well,
Mayor, I'll have the traffic division check it out tomorrow.
check that out, because it might be wrong, but go ahead, sir, I'm sorry.
yeah, we do have that mobile message sign there now.
Are you aware what the speed limit is on that street?
Well, I always assumed it was 35, but then in the last few days, I've seen this message board, and it says 25, and it tells what speed you're traveling at.
I saw that today coming home from work, and the other thing I noticed, could you stop this time, Frank?
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed, I think that sign should be back towards Essex Street more. Because I don't know whether that sign is telling people going, once you cross Passaic Street, it's a 25 zone, going from 35 to 25, or it should be telling people earlier.
You know, we've had two speed limits on Prospect Avenue. North of Passaic, it was 25, and south, it was 35, which I never understood, because north of Passaic is a one-family zone, and
Yep.
south is a multiple, high-rise building zone. It didn't make any sense.
I agree, and I'm gonna ask Officer officer in charge, Captain DeWitt, to, let's bring that up with traffic about working on that speed limit over there, because that's something we might want to consider as lowering it to 25.
Yeah.
At a previous meeting, I asked if the project for the crosswalks for Prospect Avenue at Berry, Golf Place, American Legion Drive, and Atlantic were on schedule, and I was told one meeting ago or 2 meetings ago that it was planned to be completed in the fall, September or October. Are we on track to have that done
I'd leave that to the city manager.
at that time frame?
I cannot confirm that. I don't know if our project management team has information on that. Could you?
The crosswalks on Prospect at Berry, Golf, and
American Legion
American Legion
and
Drive.
Atlantic.
And Atlantic. I don't believe there were any scheduled for Atlantic, but I would have to check on that.
That was one of the 4 intersections in question.
Yeah.
The next item has to do with an item that was brought up several meetings back during Mr. Ehrenberg's tenure. And I asked the question concerning the intersections of Central and Second, where the Mount Olive Church is located, and Summit and Golf Place, where Temple Bethel is located. And there was a disparity between the number of traffic safety devices at those 2 locations. City Manager Freeman said he would check on that. Do you have any other information as to why that exists?
I don't. I have it in my notes. There's 6 safety devices, and Summit Golf only has 3. We passed this along to our engineers, traffic engineers, to do a study and get back to us. I have not heard back yet.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, both of those streets are county streets. So that I'm assuming that the county would be responsible for whatever exists at these 2 locations.
I don't know what their current status is of it, but I will give you my word that I will look into it and get back to you.
Okay. One other question. I don't know if you'll want to answer it or not, because this involves the unfortunate fatal accident on Polyfly. The question is, does the city of Hackensack have any responsibilities for county roads that are located within the confines of the city? And if so, what are those responsibilities?
I'd have to, again.
My understanding as far as traffic signaling goes is that, I'll take for an example, the intersection of Summit and Passaic. Like Summit and Passaic is a county intersection. However, the traffic signaling is owned by the city. So if we wanted to replace that, we would have to incur the cost of replacing those signals on the county roads.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Mayor.
Thank you.
Councilman.
I'm curious as to the safety devices, the signage, pedestrian signage on Central and Second. Did the county put them there, or did we?
I can't confirm that.
Yeah, I don't know. Need to find out.
Yep.
But if it was, that would be a telltale sign if the county put them there that they were responsible for it. Okay, next person from the public, please. Ma'am? Ms. Cooper, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I am well, thank you.
Good, thank you. My name is Margot Cooper, and I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the town repairing First Street, to be specific, and replacing cracked manhole covers? Now, the infrastructure in the third ward, which involves Central Avenue to Sage Street, 3rd Street, Railroad Avenue, and down, I do believe. We understand why this is done because historically, municipalities do not want to fix what is needed. Because, for instance, the 3rd ward is predominantly involving African Americans and brown people. Now, the sewers have been backing up in the 3rd ward for years. The last problem was horrendous, 3 feet of sewage. I believe you were there in the vote at the time. People have lost many, many personal treasures because of the sewage, and the problem has not been resolved. So I and others do not understand why the town cannot resolve the problem, but yet and still we can pave the roads. Roads are not primary. Sewage is something that is extremely dangerous and can cause disease, as we all know. So therefore, we feel that the situation of the sewage system in the 3rd Ward especially should be looked upon immediately with some kind of result, and let the citizens know. They have been frustrated for years. I'm not talking 5 years, 10 years. Years of frustration. We pay taxes, we know this town, we're proud of it. But you've got to look after all of your people, regardless to what ward they live in, whether it's the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. We pay taxes, and we're proud of our town. But we need something back from the town. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to, before you, I know you want to say something, but I also want to say something. This council has,
Speak you.
this,
I think it's very loud.
thank you, Ms. Cooper. You beat the clock. But this council has moved forward with the project we are undertaking, moving forward with fixing the problem, exact problem you're talking about in the 3rd Ward. The problem is, this isn't going to be a quick fix. This is a big project. What is the total number on this? Do we know?
26 million?
$26 million. Okay, $26 million. That's for the 3rd Ward. This is Clay Street, High Street, James Street, Berry. We passed this a while ago. Actually, suburban. It's gonna affect a lot of areas, but Suburban Engineering is actually here tonight. We'll let Darren from Suburban speak, but this is gonna take a few years because the pipes running from down the hill from up by 3rd Street behind the high rises, we've got to get all that stuff down. All new piping has to go to the river, but the problem is we have to start from the river and work our way up with the bigger pipes. All right, you can't put big pipes at the top and run it into a small little pipe. You've got to start at the bottom and work its way up. It's going to be a few years of work, but we're undertaking it, $27 million plus. By the time it's done, it's probably going to be closer to $40 million because it's government work.
The 27 million is for the 3rd Ward.
I would say, Darren, is that about right?
Yes.
Would you like to come up and talk about the project? This is Darren from Suburban Engineering. They're our city engineers that are working on this project, putting it together. And go ahead, Darren. But just so it's on the record and folks can watch it on YouTube so they can be familiar with what's going to happen.
Good evening, Mayor.
How are you, sir?
In short, for probably 2.5 years, Suburban's been engaged in evaluating the situation of flooding in the city. We know the Green Street area, which is all part of the Court Street drainage area, which is your southern portion of your town, has major problems. But believe it or not, to sever that issue, we're actually heading right into the heart of the 3rd Ward. Exactly the location of what you have described is where we are running this box culvert, which started in Canada Street. It's in Frashini Park that exists now. We're making that piece larger. And Mayor, exactly how you explained it, you got to start from the river and work your way uphill. Otherwise it won't function and you will flood people. If we did it the other way, you're going to bring a lot of water down to a structure that can't handle it and you're going to cause a lot of property damage. So
The significant money is because this infrastructure is so large. And believe it or not, the section that is under contract right now, for which the box culvert's already across to the west side of Main Street. And we are going to meander up through to finally get it into Clay Street. And then the next section goes under the rail. So we got a jack underneath the rail while the rail is active. Once again, significant money. And why it took so long for us to study this is because we're talking extremely large amount of infrastructure and a very complex location of where the flooding is. And you're bound by rails going in two different directions right through the heart of Hackensack, which causes obviously significant problems that we need to engineer through. So all this is underway, and the section that we're under contract right now building, we're actually connecting very little into it to get to the third ward. So the box culvert is going in, very large infrastructure, and its capacity will be utilized once we get to the west side of the rail and then spider out across that whole area in that third ward.
Okay.
That's in a nutshell. I'm shocked I did that under 3 minutes.
Well, you're being a professional, you actually get more time, but I got a quick question for you. Is there anything, because in the meanwhile, it's gonna rain again. It's inevitable. And the flooding with the last two storms we had, specifically the first one, was a significant amount of rain in a short amount of time. We flooded all over the city. I mean, everybody flooded. I mean, that area has been a problem for years, like Newman Street, Green Street. But is there anything any type of temporary things we can do? I know Joey and Gleam is here, our superintendent, DPW, who's gonna speak also, but.
Right, and the city has undertaken, the DPW and your project manager group, to turn around and video those areas within First Street, the intersections that they're working their way through there, heading south, to try to see, is there something abnormal in the system? And if there is, obviously, then we can do a point repair, get that capacity back into the system. Hopefully we do find something to help, relieve. But if not, then it's just the lack of capacity in your system. But it's definitely worth cameraing, going through, try to find, we did find some situations that weren't functioning correctly through not having proper ventilation. So there are improvements are being made in the short term. But any significant, you get a couple inches of rain in a day, like the city system can't handle it. And then when you're out there, and Chief, I think you witnessed it, where after the rain stops, the area that drains out, so we know it's functioning underground. It just doesn't have the capacity to take those peaks of the rain.
Okay.
A lot of the infrastructure we're putting in is large. It'll actually detain. It'll be like vessels of storage within the neighborhoods underground that'll help provide more discharge to get out to the river, keeping it off the surface.
Right.
Once again, that's costly. So, believe it or not, last Tuesday, which was less than a week ago, the DEP did give us the thumbs up for this next project to get another $2 million in free money, obviously very low interest rate money also to finance the remainder of the project. So we have full cooperation from the DEP. We're moving forward, getting you folks millions and millions of dollars. But unfortunately, it's a lot of taxpayer dollars that has to go along with it.
Right.
And it's linear. So you have to start from the bottom. You got to work your way up. You can't do it all at once. You will cause a lot of property damage if you don't do this correctly. And we're very sensitive, and we understand. The public needs these improvements. So we are pushing, and we're bidding immediately and going out, and full cooperation from every department in the city to move these things forward. So we're doing everything as expeditiously as we can.
Thank you, Darren. Appreciate it.
And just Ms. Cooper, just so you're aware, the First Street paving project is a county project. Just so that you're aware, that's Bergen County doing that. And maybe if you don't mind, sir, would you mind if I just bring up?
They're right in the middle there.
Joe and Glima, could you come up for a moment? I think it would be beneficial if you just give a quick recap of what happens when it rains in the city, when we get a heavy rain? People don't see the behind the scenes things. They have the DPW and his team, they have an emergency action plan that they put into place. They deploy people, but I'd like Joe just to get into it, because just because you don't see them on your street, please understand that it's being looked at and addressed. Excuse me?
Knowledge is power.
Right.
I like to know.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and to people in the audience and at home watching. The DPW has a large function. What happens when a storm comes? We're usually well prepared prior to a storm. Just so you understand, we have pump stations that pump water. It's not, we don't wait for the water to come up and then we call people in and then they man these stations. If we know there's going to be a significant rainfall, the people who are assigned to these pump stations are working the pump stations prior to the storm to make sure that the water is being pumped properly. A lot of times what isn't seen is there's a lot of debris. Large sticks come through the pump stations, bottles and cans. We have asphalt come through. So what happens is that there's fingers in there which help to filter out this stuff that's not supposed to go out when the water's pumped. Sometimes it'll jam up the machine. These guys have to unjam it. If they don't jam it, then we'll obviously get tremendously more flooding than we would normally get. So those are manned even before the storm starts, right? If you look in some of our high flood areas, we put barricades out prior to the start of the storm. This way, in case the storm does come, officers who respond there and get there before maybe the DPW does, they can set those up so people don't drive through the flooded areas. Prior to that is that the DPW, especially the sewer department, has target areas they target once a week. That's usually the 3rd Ward specifically, that Clay Street, High Street, Berry, Stanley Place. They do an inspection there on a weekly basis. They check the catch basins to make sure the tops are clear. They do all that kind of stuff to prepare for a storm that might come. So I don't want anybody to think we just kind of wait around, wait for the water to come up. And even when a storm does come and that water does go, a lot of times these guys will lift the tops of manhole covers that are in the flooded areas, because inside some of these older style manholes, they have what's called a bell inside. And that bell traps bottles and cans and stuff so it does not flow down. If they can manually open the bell, it'll allow the water to drain out faster in that area once the water starts to recede. As an example, on one of the last floods at Berry Street, I believe it was Chief, right? Berry Street.
Yes, Berry.
When they lift the manhole, we had 100 to 200 bottles inside the manhole. So part of this is that we also need the residents to be watch what they have around their properties, especially when these floods happen. It'll pick up debris, it'll take it down into the sewers. So, you know, obviously if you have your cans out, you know it's going to rain heavy, you'll try to maybe pull them back off the curb a little bit instead of not knocking over your recycling cans. Pull some of your debris back forward. I have personally spent a tremendous amount of time on the phone with residents who call to try to help them with their properties. As we said, there's a long project that's not going to be completed overnight. So if anybody wants to call the DPW, I'll be more than happy to speak with them, give them somewhat of an evaluation to try to help them to prevent flooding in their home. Maybe they need to change where their leaders come down to their homes. They're too close to the home. Maybe the neighbor's leader is going right to the foundation of their basement. Maybe they don't have their sump pump hooked up properly, or they need to do a better job on, you know, putting a pit in the basement with a pump in it. Maybe they need a check valve put in on some of these locations. But like I said, you know, we're here to assist. I know, you know, Ryan's here tonight from Project Manager's office. We take field phone calls with the residents all the time. So, you know, I know that, you know, sometimes people don't want to call, but if you call, we'll help you through whatever it is. And, you know, we'll try to hopefully get this project on, and just so they understand we're out there and we're working, doing what we're supposed to.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Serbo, you're up.
All right. Just a few things, okay? My name's Rich Serbo, Spring Valley Avenue. We talked about Spring Valley last week, so I won't even get into that this week. But I saw a posting online somewhere about the monument or the statue of Columbus being taken down at the park. Is that true? Is that?
No, Unico took it down to refurbish it.
Okay, so it's gonna be returned?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be brought back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That ain't going anywhere.
Okay, so I was gonna lay it on you for giving the order, John.
That ain't happening on my watch.
Okay, all right, so I have good news now. I have a segment to praise the police. And recently, there was a incident downtown on Washington Avenue. Ruth Metzler, who has been here and with us many times. Her sister had a little event. She suffers from dementia, and the police came down in a rescuing way, and they were very kind, very gentle to her. They took her to spend the night, overnight at Holy Name Hospital, and everything was wonderful. So I just wanted to, I don't know the police officer's name.
There's some back there. You can.
But I just would like to thank him. And Ruth thanks you. Her sister was well taken care of by this officer.
Good.
And so we're happy about that. So, okay, also a couple other things. The remark you made at the end of our last meeting, John, when you sort of blurted out that, oh, we had a pandemic, as if, oh, that's the reason for all this shakeup and problems that we're having. But the pandemic itself, okay, is defined a little differently. You can't just throw that word around. Pandemic has a definition that it needs to have a large mortality rate, a high mortality rate. And this virus never did, and I don't think it ever will, because it's kind of, there's no rhyme or reason to what's going on, and there hasn't been in the last 2 years. So when you say that we're having a pandemic, kind of use it with the right definition. So there is not a high mortality rate, so don't use it, okay, please, thank you, okay, thanks. All right, other comments. Mr., I forgot his name already, I'm sorry.
Alberti?
Oh, come on, that can't be my time, John.
It's 3 minutes.
Okay,
That's ridiculous.
We didn't speak.
No, that's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
let's vote on time extension, maybe next time around, all right? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to speak? How are you, sir? Good. You can lower your mask at the podium if you want to. If you,
My name is Khalid Darwish, and I live in Hackensack for the past probably 35 years or so. And just want to bring to your attention the area that I live in, Hudson and Kennedy. Talking about the flood zone, I'm not exactly sure if we fall into the flood zone area, but we are not into that. But normally on that corner, we have a lot of water after the rain, or if we have any storm or anything, it actually accumulates so much. And I know the public work comes in and do the great work by flushing the water out and keeping the traffic away from the area. But for some reason, it's been there for a number of years, and I don't know, you know, they come around very often to go through the manhole or try to flush things out. And me and my kids, and you've seen some of them here, actually we try to help guiding the driver away from the area by rerouting the traffic from Route 80 going the other direction toward Restaurant Depot.
then that's due to the flooding you're diverting, yes?
That area is very, very condensed with, I guess, the traffic, and that intersection is always is a problem. That's
Right.
one thing I wanted to say. The other thing is between Kennedy and Hudson, actually, Hudson and Kennedy, it seems like that street is so wide and it's so smooth. From a traffic light from Hudson going to Kennedy before you get to Route 80, it seemed like most of the drivers, they see it like a raceway. And I actually go real fast. I live exactly on a corner, Washington Avenue on a corner, 317 Washington Avenue, Hackensack. And if you could visualize the noise or the rumbling, and the trailers pass by, or the noise most of the time.
Right.
I think it would be a good idea if there is a speed bump, 1 or 2 speed bump going toward west. That would be great.
Going towards Route 80 from Hudson.
Right. Going east is no problem because it's actually like a curve. By the time you make the curve.
Yes,
you see the
I know.
traffic light.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. I think the speed bump would be great. I mean, it doesn't have to be permanent, it could be removable. I mean, we could do that. We could work with the city on that, but it make a problem for us. I mean, we lived there for a number of years. We can try to adapt to it, but it's a major issue. You know, my time's almost up. Yeah, I appreciate your.
Thank you. The flooding, I mean, we're well aware of that area too for flooding. That's always been, that's where Water Street is up there. It's named Water Street for a reason. We've had significant flooding issues down there, though it's gotten a little better. We put a new pump station that's helping down there.
That area gets affected by the tide too.
And when you're that close to the river and you have a high tide, because it's a tidal river, and a full moon, that's why sometimes you'll get a good rain and it won't flood, and then you'll get a small rain and all of a sudden you get all this water and you're like, what's going on? Well, that's because you got a high tide, right, and a full moon, and it changes the whole game. It's like Mother Nature plays its own game. So, I've been down there when it's barely raining and you get some decent flooding down there. You're like,
Yes, and I did hear. I'm sorry to take more time. I did hear one of the years. I don't know if one of my kids remember. Actually, I was out from state here. Somebody actually passed away on that traffic light because of the flood. I think they tried to get him out from the car.
yeah, really.
He went there. He closed the window. He actually passed away on that corner.
Oof,
And all the gentlemen.
that's not good.
Another thing, by the way, the gentleman was talking about the lady with dementia. She actually came into my house, the second floor, knocked on it, and we
Oh,
called
really?
the police.
Oh,
Just
thank
like
you for
us.
doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, you're a big, you're a hero. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good time. Thank you.
And sir, any complaints for speeding and such like you brought up, I forward that to the police department and they'll look into it, and then also, if they have the availability, they'll put the speed trailer there also, so we'll put it on the
I don't know.
list.
Deb, did you get the gentleman's name?
I have the address,
Flourish.
You have it? Okay.
Yes.
317 Washington.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to
I don't
speak?
have the spelling of his name if you need that.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it. Okay, no one else from the public? Motion to close to the public?
Offer.
Roll call.
Councilmember Van Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Oh, the email.
Yeah, we'll close the public and then just read it.
Just
Okay.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
And I would just note,
Okay.
I think there was one, we're still accepting emailed comments, so I think we had one that will need to be read to the record.
Okay, and Bridget Rucker is not in attendance, is that correct?
No.
That's correct.
Okay. This is a letter that was sent in to the city council. It's from Bridget Rucker. She writes, and I'll quote her, "I'm responding to the question of stakeholder/resident Victor Geddes that was asked at the last council meeting, parentheses, July 19, 2021, and responses that Stephanie von Rudenberg has given. I don't see color," that was quote. "Some people comment they're colorblind or all people are equal. It sounds well-meaning at the first sight, but it's not an attempt to listen or inquire about the issue. It reiterates an end goal we haven't achieved yet in society. Similarly, if some people decide an issue is not racist, it is not, dash, they make the decision, parentheses, quote, I don't see a slave, I see a beautiful woman, end quote. While this comment might be well-meaning, reality is different. People of color face hardship looking for jobs and accommodation, comma, when shopping or eating out. They don't have the same opportunities. thinking, quote, all people are equal, end quote, ignores that reality, comes from a privileged point of view, and is not helpful. We need to take their response seriously and accept what they decide. No one questioned your job or your son's friend, just your point of view on critical race theory, and you went into defense mode, which made it truly obvious, and the John came to your defense, which made it worse. I just want this city council to think before their responses and not respond based on the emotions of the questions. Bridget Rucker.
Okay, staff, you have any comments?
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for being here. The only comment I'm going to make is, we can all, I disagree. I don't agree with Ms. Rucker, but she's entitled to her opinion. Just a few notes. Football and soccer registration is open through the rec department. And baseball and softball Hackensack is hosting a clothing and shoe drive this Saturday from 9 to 1 at Fashini Park. You can donate all of your clothing and household goods for a good cause to help support the program. School is opening September 7th for students. Just be mindful, there will be a lot of kids walking to school and parents driving, so just be aware, and I ask that many of the parents just continue to obey the parking regulations and regulations of the road, double parking by the schools, and just be mindful of crosswalks with the students. I just want to congratulate our special officers that are going to the academy. And thank you to Chief Freeman again. I know we said it before, and I neglected to say Jackie and Jan and the whole office, but they are just wonderful. After our city manager passed, everyone just stepped up to the plate. Every department, our clerks, our clerk department, DPW, everybody just came together and worked in lockstep to keep the city moving, and we all appreciate that very much. Thank you to Jim Mangan and his whole department for always, explaining to us the finances and making everyone understand and saying in layman's terms, and just working so hard to make sure our cities continues to work, move forward in the right direction. On tonight's agenda, we awarded a contract to Stide Park improvements, a much needed and long overdue improvement for the park, and we look forward to that. That's one of our bigger recreation campsites, and we're hoping to have a really nice place for our campers as well as our residents to use the park. Thank you to Joe and our DPW for all the work. Sometimes you're right, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes when we're just kind of seeing the flooding and the different things, but I know you guys work really, really hard to try to keep everybody safe and get us through these storms. It's been a pretty difficult year with all the rain that we've got, and we appreciate it. One more. And thank you to Mr. Serbo and Mr. Darish for, helping somebody that needed help, and also for recognizing our police department. Again, it's nice to hear accolades for our employees, and especially thank you to our police department for, always doing the right thing and working so hard for us. And that's all I have. Thank you and have a good night.
Just say welcome again, Vince Caruso. We look forward to you joining our organization. And of course, much thanks again to the Chief, to Jackie, to all the department heads who got us through these last few very trying months and in a successful and smooth way, which speaks a lot to all the employees. Mr. Caruso, you're inheriting a really great bunch of people. So again, thanks to all involved. Appreciate Darren speaking and Joe and Lima speaking. We understand Ms. Cooper, the total frustration and the fact that these are serious quality of life issues for people. And we acknowledge that, and no one wants to be living under those conditions, which is why we ventured into this, long-term improvement of doing sewer separation within the city. I think they did a great job of explaining not only what the long-term plan is, but, what we're trying to do in the meantime as well. I'm sorry I got into a choking episode, so I don't know, Darren, if you got to talk, but there's also another component there where we're working with Hackensack University Medical Center, and we're obtaining a bunch of other box culverts that we're going to be putting in very soon, which, again, what he explained the box culvert is going to do is it's going to retain water, so it's not all just rushing through the system and flooding. And working in conjunction with the hospital, we are going to be getting those strategically placed in areas of the 3rd Ward. Is it going to be a full solution? No, that full solution is coming when we work our way up from the river. But I believe, Darren, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is going to help You know, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna help, because it will retain some of those fluids, some of those storm waters before, again, it jams up the system, and it's gonna definitely help with capacity. So in addition to all of that great work, and we see these DPW guys out there, and Joe, you know, please, you know, extend our comments to them. I mean, they're out there in this horrible weather, pouring rain, you know, water everywhere, and they're doing everything they can to help us. And, you know, everyone in town, and especially everyone on this council, you know, is very, very thankful for the work and the hard work that they all do. Additionally, during the city manager report, he mentioned that we are going to initiate, because there is so much focus right now and so many questions, that for the current time, we're going to, at each of our committee of the whole meetings, we're going to make it a standing agenda item to talk about stormwater updates. You hear that, Ryan? So we're going to be asking Ryan, Susan, and maybe sometimes we'll have another special guest like Darren, to just keep the public, you know, it's twice a month, keep them informed where we are, what's happening, and also create a forum so the public come in, bring your neighbors. If you have questions, you have problems, come in, let's talk about it. You know your problems better than we do. You know your neighborhoods better than we do. Many times, you have some good solutions because you're living there. So we want to hear that, and so do our engineers and our project managers and our DPW guys, because sometimes we put all our heads together, and guess what? We come up with the best solutions. So we look forward to continuing those conversations. During the Committee of the Whole, our CFO, Jim Mangan, talked about various things with debt management, but one of the most important things he said tonight was our credit rating was increased to a AA+, and some of the comments in the report were just flowing as far as where the city has come, you know, over the last few years in the financial status. And again, thanks not only to Jim and to our auditor, but to the whole finance department, who really worked very, very hard to have this major accomplishment. So again, kudos to all that good work. I always try to just do a quick rundown on some of the most important highlights of the meetings from my perspective and the things that I work on. Again, you saw there were some comments here about a redevelopment project. That redevelopment project is a project that's going to go, when completed, it will house 210 units. Basically, it's going to be on the corner of Green and Essex Street. If you can figure where that is, that was where our old recycling center was, and there was a couple of old houses there. Actually, that will be running right along the railroad tracks. So yeah, just hop out of bed and you can jump on a train and get to work. So I think it's going to be a great project, and again, we went through with approvals on that tonight. As always, we continue to follow our CFO Jim's guidelines and maintaining our debt status, but continuing to do infrastructure improvements and well-needed improvements throughout the city. So just a few highlights of things that are on there tonight. We continue with our fire department building renovations. This goes on every year. They've aged and require some significant work, so each year we do something. And in addition to that, we've had a remediation issue, Chief, yes, under the fire department, the main fire department here for years. That has kind of just been maintained to keep safety, but now we're taking the bull by the horns and we're going to really fix it. So this is a significant amount of money, and hopefully we're done. Hopefully we get it taken care of. Correct. And so there's a big piece of the bond ordinances that go towards that. We were due for a new fire truck. We're buying that. We were due, Joe, for 2 new garbage trucks. So we're doing that. We threw another $1 million into paving, so we're working our way through all the streets. Yes, Leo? So Leo is our paving expert, so that was in there. And also our building department. Now, our building department is moving closer to City Hall, where the old John Earl building was. So we're also having to renovate that to accommodate the building department. We'll provide additional parking, and of course, close proximity to City Hall will make everything come together a lot better during these times. We're doing some traffic signal updates. And did I miss anything? I think that's it. So, sounds like a lot. It is a lot. But we need to do, again, every year we need to do things in the city to keep it running the way it is and to not impact our taxpayers. And that's the plan. That's Jim's plan as our CFO. Our interim city manager's plan, our new city manager's plan is to keep this city in the condition that it is and continue to improve it. So thanks for coming, everyone. We'll see you again next time, even if it's only on Zoom, until the health of this whole country gets a little bit better.
Thank you again, Chief, for all your help, and welcome, Mr. Caruso. I want to thank all the departments that during all this bad weather, they really step to the plate. And no question, Mr. Servo, the speeding and the noise with all these cars on time, 10 or 11 o'clock, we are like racetracks. And the other thing that happened is that all these young fellows now, they got tinted windows and the passenger side and the driver's side, now including the windshield. So even the police officer, they don't know who is inside this car. That's something that the police has to take care. They are doing a good job. Thank you for everything, Mr. DeWitt. But we gotta do a little bit better. And no question that the stormwaters and the sewer separation is going forward. Mr. Darren from Suburban is doing a good job. Thank you, Darren, for everything that you are doing. And the city was like, I don't want to say neglect, but nobody was taking care of the problem like we are doing together with the rest of the head department. And they're gonna take a couple of years, but we are going in the right direction, and all these problems, they're gonna be solved. People that know me, they know that I am all over the place. I got a meeting with the people from the New Jersey Transit. They're gonna take care of the railroad crossings and Passaic Street and Lexus Street. And trust me, the city gonna improve in the next 2-3 years. Hackensack gonna be a beautiful city. Thank you for coming. Good night.
Thank you. Jerry?
Yes, one good thing about being last, everything has been said already. So I noticed it.
You noticed that?
I kind of like that. A couple things. So again, I want to thank the chief again for stepping up and filling in some big shoes. And to our new city manager, can't wait to start, working with you, and hope everything goes well for you. I'd also like to thank the police department for the class ones that are now going back to the academy. I think it's been, a couple of years since we had a class there, and it's good to have, those officers now being allowed to go back to the academy. And with that, I conclude my statement.
Thank you. I know how you feel about going last. I'm looking at Kathy, as she's talking, I'm crossing the stuff off my list. I'm like, I don't have to do that one, I don't have to do that one, but that's all good. Mr. Vincent Caruso, again, thank you, and we look forward to working with you. I'm sure we'll have a great relationship. You're gonna fall in love with Hackensack, because everybody that works here does, and you'll be close to home, and we look forward to a great relationship. Jim, thanks again. You and your staff, the finance department, the finance committee, another great job. Getting that AA+ rating is awesome. And we'll strive to get that AAA. Darryl, thanks for coming tonight and addressing the public. Appreciate it. Joey, you as well. Joey Glema, the DPW. Thank you for coming tonight. And Ryan. One of the things that's going to be on my list for the next few years, and I know Mr. Smith, you're going to like this, is pedestrian safety in the city. Read the article the other day how North Jersey is becoming a nightmare for pedestrians, and it's a combination of all types of different things. It's a combination of not enough crosswalks. It's a combination of educating people not to cross in the middle of the street and just walk out into the car in front of cars. It's just. But some of the things I see going on lately, I can see why people are getting hit by cars when I drive around the city. So we need to beef it up, pay a little more attention. I think we should try to attain some more grant money and try to really enhance our pedestrian safety throughout the city. So that's going to be on one of my jobs. Tom, thanks again for filling in as interim city manager. Did a great job. You and Jackie did a wonderful job. I really appreciate it. Helped us out in a pinch. And, Ted's up there smiling, saying, I'm sure he's giving you the thumbs up. Saying a couple other things, I'm sure. Events. We've been having some great events in the city. I don't know if people have been out there watching or in the audience, but we have some great shows, usually Tuesday nights on the Green, right by the county courthouse. We have wonderful concerts tomorrow night. It was mentioned before, Filet of Soul, which is originally a Hackensack band from like 30 years ago, and they're still playing. They're playing tomorrow night at 7:30. Friday nights we have shows at the Atlantic Street Park. They're great little shows. And what else do we have? We have Shakespeare in the Park. We've been having drive-in movies. We've been having yoga, Zumba, out there on the green, so check, go to hackpack.org on our website. Or on, you can see all the events on our website at hackensack.org, or you can go to the HackPack website and they're all listed on there, so check that out. And Mr. Serbo, you know, we're gonna have different opinions on the pandemic. I work in healthcare, you know, I see things a little differently than you, and hits me a little differently than you. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. Nor,
Healthcare too.
yeah, but not during this. So
I have.
my point being is, you know, it's a serious event, and it's not going away anytime soon. And you know, the professionals are saying they haven't seen a virus like this mutate as quick as this one has. So it's a scary thing. So no disrespect to you, you can have your opinions on whether it's serious or not, but I'm taking this one serious. And with that, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call, or all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. It's the only time we get to do it, is at the end. All right, thank you everybody for coming, appreciate it.
Have a good